I'm Megan Castillo. I'm the Product Marketing Manager for Freestyle. And today we're going to be highlighting the barcode scanning functionality in Freestyle and how you can improve both the efficiency and accuracy in processing your orders. So for today's agenda, I'm going to start out with a brief background about Freestyle Solutions and who we are, along with some of the general benefits of using Freestyle Commerce. And then, of course, we'll get into today's solution spotlight, which is our barcode scanning functionality. Please feel free to use the questions panel that's located on the right-hand side of your screen, and we'll wrap up with those questions at the end. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Freestyle Solutions, Freestyle Solutions has been providing inventory and order management solutions to solve the business automation needs of retailers, fulfillment centers, and direct marketers for over 25 years. We're actually a company started by retailers. We also have two solutions. So we have our on-premise solution, which is multi-channel order manager, or what we refer to as MOM. And then, of course, we have our cloud-based solution, Freestyle Commerce, which is what we're going to be looking at today. With all of our experience in the industry, we have built a strong reputation in the inventory and order management space. Okay. So what you're looking at on the screen right now is what processing an order would look like without having a comprehensive inventory and order management solution in place. So for some of you, depending on your e-commerce platform, you might be taking advantage of the different apps and or extensions that they have available for the different processes in the order fulfillment process. So you might be utilizing, a point solution for your inventory management, another one for actually creating the shipping labels and the shipments. All in all, as you can see from the screen, it's a very disjointed process. And what happens with that is not only is it time-consuming, but when there's a lot of manual effort and logging in and out of systems involved, it's a lot of error sometimes involved. Because all of these extensions, although they might specialize in each one of their areas, they weren't natively designed to speak and interact together. So with Freestyle, what we try to do is take all of those processes and bring them into one solution. So everything from the time you receive the order over here on the left to the time that your customer receives it, all of those inventory and order management fulfillment processes are now going to occur within Freestyle. And we're going to do our best to automate all of those processes to keep you nice and streamlined and efficient. Now, the top process is for those of you who warehouse and fulfill your items yourself. For those of you who drop ship, this bottom line is for the drop ship scenario. So when it comes to drop shipping, Freestyle will automatically generate that purchase order for you, just kind of speeding up that process, because in that scenario, you essentially are the middleman between the supplier and the end customer. But all in all of those fulfillment processes are done in one solution, which not only increases your efficiency, but avoids the manual error by automating most of these processes. So just to highlight once again some of the key areas where Freestyle can help you in your inventory and order management process. For those of you who are working in that multi-channel scenario, perhaps you're selling on, say, Magento and Amazon and eBay, etc. Freestyle is going to funnel all of those orders into one solution and queue them up for processing. So in that multi-channel scenario, we're going to help you fulfill your orders faster, not only by allowing you to queue all those orders up together, but also the batch processing. Better inventory management comes into play in that scenario as well, because sometimes you have an item that you're selling on, say, your Magento store as well as Amazon. So when we pull down the orders from your Magento store, we're going to also update the inventory levels out to any and all sales channels that are selling that item as well. In addition, other areas you can benefit with Freestyle, we do have fully integrated shipping, which means you do not have to leave Freestyle to create those shipments, the shipping labels, and the tracking information. All of that is going to be done right within Freestyle. Also, unlike your sales channels that are only managing your products, customers, and orders, Freestyle is going to be managing your vendors as well. This allows you to issue your purchase orders, both for general inventory replenishment and also in that dropship scenario. In addition, Freestyle does offer some areas of business intelligence by way of our real-time dashboards and reporting. And then, of course, all of this, as I said before, is done in one solution. Some other advantages Freestyle has to offer For those of you who work with Magento as your main e-commerce platform, Freestyle was originally designed to work with Magento specifically. And so we have the tightest integration available currently on the market, which allows for what we call event-driven push-pull functionality in near real time. Now what I mean by that, an event is when a customer places an order, Freestyle sees that, and it'll pull it down automatically. And in that near real time, essentially it's about 60 seconds or less, depending on your internet connection. We also offer integration with both BigCommerce and Mozu as your main e-commerce platform. Then of course we have our direct connection with Amazon for both your Seller Central and FBA orders. And then finally we do have an API for integrating any and all other shopping carts or marketplaces. So now to get into today's highlight, which is our barcode scanning functionality. So utilizing the barcode scanning functionality is not only going to help to improve your accuracy, but also your efficiency in the pick and pack stages. Now one thing to note is that barcode scanning functionality is built into Freestyle. So there is no additional cost to utilize it. You have the choice whether to utilize the scanning functionality or not. It's simply an enablement within the settings section. So if for some reason, maybe you're not using it at first, you're not set up for barcode scanning, it's always something there that as you want to become more efficient as you go along and grow, you can always enable it. The barcode scanning functionality currently works with wired barcode scanners. Wireless functionality will be available a little bit later in the year, but currently it's with the wired barcode scanners. When it comes to the scanning functionality, by utilizing the barcode scanning, you're not only going to ensure that the correct items themselves are being packed, but also the correct quantity of each line item is being packed. So what you're going to see in a minute is that Freestyle has a great color coding system in place. So let's say, for example, a customer had ordered 2 of a specific item. When you scan the barcode of the first line item, it's going to turn yellow, signifying that you're not yet done packing that particular line item. And then when you've fulfilled the full quantity of that line item, it'll turn green, signifying that you're done with that particular line item. At the same token, if for some reason, perhaps your picker picked the wrong item, they picked the navy blue shirt instead of the black, when you go to scan it, the line item will turn red, just as a note so that you don't go ahead and pack and ship the wrong item. You can go ahead and switch it on the spot. Okay, so at this point, bear with me for a second while I go ahead and switch screens here and log into my Freestyle account. And we'll get right into the product demonstration portion. Okay. So what you should all be seeing on your screen right now is my Freestyle instance. So I've gone out to the internet and I've logged into Freestyle. Now once again, Freestyle is a cloud-based solution, which means there are no servers or local installs involved. You simply log in to the application via the web. Now, Freestyle as a SaaS solution, it is based on the name user. Therefore, each individual user within your company will have their own login. And based on their login credentials, we can track all of their history, so you can always see which employee made which change within the system. In addition, when you set up your users and your roles, we will help you set up the different roles within the system. So what I mean by a role is you're going to have people who are identified as admins, perhaps you as the merchant owner. You're going to have customer service representatives, those within the warehouse. And basically, based upon the role that the user is assigned, they'll be limited to their access within the system, as well as which reports and dashboards they have access to. And when each user logs in, they will be presented with what you're looking at on the screen right now, which is what we call our dashboard view. Now, I, for example, am logged in as an admin. So these widgets that are making up my dashboard here, these are all live widgets that are reporting on live criteria right now. So you'll see that as I hover over any one of these numbers, that little hand appears. That's because I can drill into each one of these widgets. It's all pulling off of live data. Now, without getting into too much right now, because we are focusing on barcode scanning today, But just to briefly talk about the dashboard functionality, as I mentioned, each dashboard is custom to each user. These dashboards are customizable in a couple different ways. You'll notice across the top here I have different tabs. It's a way to organize the different widgets that you have set up on your dashboard. The dashboards can physically be arranged by dragging and dropping. Plus, each one of them, there are a certain degree to which each one of them can be customized. And again, the availability of which widgets the user can put on their dashboard is based on which role they play in the system. Okay, so let's get into today's functionality. So in order to demonstrate the barcode scanning functionality, I'm going to come over here to Orders, and I'm going to go to View Shipments. Now, in preparation for today's presentation, I've gone ahead and placed a few orders, which you can see here under my New tab. These are all of the new orders that have been placed on my website. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning portion, everything is event-driven in Freestyle. So when a new order comes into your website, it's going to be considered as an event, and Freestyle is going to automatically pull those in and queue them up for processing. Now, in this case, these happen to be orders for items that I warehouse and happen to be in stock, so they've ended up in this queue where I can actually go through the picking and packing processes. If it was something that I had drop shipped, then when the order was pulled into Freestyle, the purchase order would have been automatically generated. And if it's something that, if I happen to allow for back orders, happen to be on back order, it would have gotten stuck in the orders queue under a back order status. But in this case, these are all orders for items that I warehouse and happen to be in stock. So one other thing to note before I move along, you will notice going across the top here, I do have a couple different tabs. I have my New, which are my new orders, my Ready to Pick, which is the items that are ready to be picked, the orders that are ready to be packed, ready to ship, and so forth. So one thing to note about Freestyle, in each and every area of the system, we try to organize things in grid based on which state or which process they are in, depending on which area of the system you're looking at. So basically, the way this is arranged here, I can quickly, at a glance, log in and see, which items are ready to be picked, which items are ready to be packed, and so forth. So that's a nice way to separate things out. This way you can quickly see what's in what stage of the game. In this case, let's continue with our barcode scanning. So here on my New tab are all the new orders that came in. A few things to note here. You have the opportunity to either toggle off one line item and print the pick ticket. You can toggle off multiple line items, or you can do a full batch process and toggle off up top to highlight all of them and print that master pick list. For today, I'm just going to stick with this one line item, so I'm going to toggle off here to the left of this line item, and I'm going to say print my pick ticket. Now my pick ticket is going to open in a new window. Bear with me for just 1 second. Okay, so my pick ticket opens in a new window, and then at this point I would just go ahead and print that pick ticket. So let me go ahead and print that. And while that's printing, let's just talk about our pick ticket here. So on your pick ticket, this is a standard template. We do have a variety of templates available for pick slips, pack slips, and invoices that you can choose from. If you would like to customize, we can always work with you on that. But the ones we have are pretty standard. So here on this pick ticket, you can see I have my bill to information, my ship to, my order date, my warehouse. Now, one thing to note, if you have an item that happens to be in more than one warehouse, Freestyle is a multi-warehouse system. So, for example, these two products that I have, I know in my system, I have them stored in both my East Coast and my West Coast warehouses. But in this case, Freestyle automatically defaulted to my East Coast warehouse because my shipping address is on the East Coast. It's in Parsippany, New Jersey. So Freestyle has the logic to, based on the geolocation of the ship-to address, it'll choose the warehouse closest to, just to cut down on your shipping costs. In addition, below there you can see I have my order ID and my shipping ID. These two barcodes are reference IDs. If you needed to reference the order or the shipment for any reason, you can absolutely do so. This shipping ID we're actually going to use a little bit later. Looking here at my line items, you'll see I have my bin. Now this bin naming conventionality is completely up to you as the merchant. So I've simply used my SKU, but I've seen merchants use this as a way to organize your warehouse. So you may have the bin labeled as row 5, shelf 2, or however it is that you happen to have your warehouse organized. In addition, you do have the ability to add the image to the pick ticket, which is very useful depending on the types of products that you have, just to distinguish the product. Then, of course, you have the product name, the SKU, and the quantity. Down here is this barcode. It says scan to mark this shipment as picked. So once you've printed out all of your pick lists, you're going to hand them off to the person in the warehouse. They're going to take them. They're going to walk around your warehouse, depending on how you have it set up. Maybe they have a bin that they push around. They pick all of their items. And then once they're done, they're going to go ahead and use their scanner and scan this to mark it as picked and move it over to the ready to pack stage. So if you can all just hang tight for just 1 second, let me just go and grab my pick slip and then we'll continue. Hang on 1 second. Okay, so I just went and grabbed my pick ticket. And right now, let's just assume that I went through the warehouse and I picked these items. So I'm going to go ahead and on my pick ticket, I'm going to scan this barcode down here to mark the item as picked. So let me go ahead over to Freestyle, and I'm going to scan the barcode on that pick slip. And now I'm going to get a pop-up. Now you can either enable or disable this confirmation screen. I kept it enabled just so you all can see the option. But at this point it's saying, do you want to confirm the shipment is picked? And then it'll move it over to the ready to pack stage. So I'm actually going to scan this barcode right on my screen right here, which you're looking at. So that's one thing to note, is that you can actually scan right on the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And now it's going to move over to the ready to pack phase. So here's that order number 12, or excuse me, shipment number 1258. This is the one that I just scanned, marked as picked. Now at this point, I've handed the items over to my packer. My packer is going to take my pick slip that I just handed them, and they can go ahead and scan this shipping ID right here to get into the shipment and actually start packing the boxes. So let me come back over here, and I'm going to scan that shipping ID that I just showed you. And now that's going to take me right into the shipment. So here you can see, here are my line items to be packed. And then I have a whole bunch of barcodes up here, which we'll get to in a second. But let's go ahead and just start scanning our items. So I'm going to start scanning my physical item that I have in front of me. And I'm going to start with this first one. Now when I scan it, you'll notice two things started happening. First, that one of the items moved over to the right here into the package. And you'll notice that my line item turned yellow. This is that color coding functionality that I was talking about, where I said that when you have more than one line item, it'll turn yellow to signify that you're not yet done packing that particular line item. In addition, I don't know if you all noticed this, but up here, there's yet another line item that appeared, and this is the shipping cost. So what's going to happen is, as I'm actually packing my box, Freestyle is going to automatically calculate the actual shipping cost based on the dimensions and weight I have set up in Freestyle, as opposed to what I'm actually charging. And we'll go ahead after I finish scanning and packing this item, and I'm going to show you a report that we have that'll show you your profit and loss of your actual versus what you're charging people in terms of shipping. So let's get back and continue to scan. I'm going to scan the second and final item for that line item. and you'll notice that now I've turned green. That means I've successfully packed that line item. Another thing to note, if I happen to scan something that is the wrong product, which I just did, you'll notice that I got this error message right here in red saying that the scanned item doesn't match any of the items to be packed. So that's that other checks and balances I had mentioned, just to ensure that I don't try and pack and ship off the wrong item to the customer. Once I've scanned the third and final item, the screen is going to say, all items have been scanned. Do you want to print the pack slip? Now at this point, most often you would actually do so. I'm actually going to say no because I just want to show you some additional commands that we have available. And we'll print that pack slip once I'm complete. Back in here, I do want to show you some other additional commands we have available. So in this barcode right here next to my package, if I go ahead and scan that, it's going to open up another window of different options I have available. So we have a couple different things here. We have print box label. Now, depending on how you have your warehouse set up and how the arrangement between your packers and your shippers, you may want to either push the box over, opened with the packing slip just sitting there, and let the shipper seal it up and finish the process. Or some of you want to actually have the packer seal up the box before they pass it over. Well, if the box is sealed, how's the shipper going to know what contents are contained in that? They'll know if you go ahead and print a box label. So if I scan right here on the screen, and I'm scanning directly on my laptop, what's going to open now in a new window is a box ID label. And these box ID labels are approximately 1 by 3 inch. And basically what I would do is if I wanted to have my packer seal up and actually close the box, what they could do is just put this label on top of it, and it's big enough for the shipper to scan and get into the shipment so they can complete the actual shipping process, but small enough where you can actually place the actual shipping label over it when you're completed. So that's just an option. If you did want to have your packer seal up the box, they can absolutely do so. Let's go back and take a look at some of the other options here on this screen. You have your print packing slip. If you didn't do it on the first screen, you can do it from here. Deleting the box. So sometimes your shipment may require more than one box. Sometimes you might get a little box happy in creating the packages, and you might have created one too many boxes. If that's the case, you can go ahead and scan here and delete that box. Continue packing in this box. So this occurs or is useful when you're in that multiple box scenario. So if you want to toggle back and forth between which boxes you're packing, you can do so by utilizing this barcode right here, and you would scan it and continue packing in that particular box. Removing an item. Maybe you're packing multiple boxes and you packed an item in a box that you wanted to now pack in a different box. You can go ahead and remove it. Remove all contents. Maybe you got to the last item and you realize that it's not all going to fit in one box. Now you want to, instead of using one large box, you want to split the shipment into 2 medium boxes. So you need to remove all your contents. You can do so. The package templates area. This is where if you needed to change your box size, you can do so. So when you set up Freestyle, you will set up a default package type. And so when that package is created, it will default to that one. But that may not be always suitable for every shipment. So here you can choose the different packages that you have available. And then this close button is simply to close this screen. Okay, so those are all the different barcode scanning options you have when you're within the shipment. At this point, we're going to assume I'm done. I'm not going to unpack anything. It's all good and ready to go. So I'm actually going to, from here, I'm going to say right here on the screen, I'm going to print my packing slip. So I'm going to scan there. And the confirmation screen is just going to say that when I confirm it, it's going to print my packing slip and also move that particular shipment over to my ready to ship stage. So I'm going to scan the barcode right here on the screen to say yes. My packing slip is going to open in a new window where I can then print it out. Again, we have some standard templates available. Typically, you would have your logo at the top left and your contact details on the top right, and then you have your standard bill to, ship to information, order date, again, those reference IDs, and the line items that are contained in that particular shipment. So let me close that out, confirming that my shipment overview has changed successfully. And now, when I move to my shipments, you'll see that that shipment, or excuse me, that shipment order 1258 that we just completed has now been moved over to my Ready to Ship tab. And from here, I can go ahead and complete the process by printing my shipping label. So that wraps up the scanning functionality. So basically what we did was, we had from the pick slip, you can scan it to mark it as picked and move it over. And then the barcode scanning functionality really comes into play on the scan and pack side of things. So again, the color coding system in place to ensure that both the correct quantity and correct items are being packed. Also, we saw the actual shipping costs being calculated. So if I come over to my reports and I go to my standard reports, we have a report here called Shipping Details. And if I open that report in a new window, and I'm going to set my filters. I'm going to say my current year, all my shipping methods, and when I run my report, you can see when I go to expand, I have two different shipping methods set up in my particular account. I have my fixed and my flat rate. Going across, you can see if I go over all the way to the right to my profit loss, it looks like I'm experiencing a loss on both of my shipping rates. Now, if I go ahead and expand next to each one of them, I can see how much I'm losing on each individual shipment. So note to self, I may want to change my shipping cost because obviously I'm taking a loss. So this is a nice report to have in place. Again, it's a nice checks and balances to ensure that you're charging enough for shipping. You don't want to really be experiencing a loss. So here you can tell not only the overall profit loss, but you can see on which shipment it is that you're experiencing those losses and just how much. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close that out, and I'll move back to my Freestyle account. So that actually wraps up the scan and pack functionality, or the barcode scanning functionality in general within Freestyle. Again, the purpose of the scanning is really just to improve the efficiency and the accuracy. Are there any questions with regard to barcode scanning in particular or Freestyle in general? If so, please feel free to use the questions panel located on that right-hand side of your screen. There was one question about a difference between the wired or wireless barcode scanners as far as they integrate with MOM. This presentation pertains particularly to Freestyle. And I apologize if you did not get that message. There was some confusion. I am going to be producing a video specifically on the barcode scanning functionality within MOM. I can make sure that that gets sent out to you in a separate email. Another question, is there a full Freestyle demo scheduled soon? Yes. So I actually do regular Thursday demos at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, where I will go through a basic high-level overview of Freestyle. During that demo, essentially what I do is I'll place an order on my dummy website, and we'll go through the whole order processing flow, and so you can see how the order comes in. We go through our pick, pack, and ship process within Freestyle, and then we push up the completed order status as well as the tracking information back out to your sales channel. During that time, we'll also look at the other parts of Freestyle. We have our customers, your products, orders, inventory, and etc. So yes, we do have that every Thursday. You can find that on our website where you can register. Otherwise, if 2 p.m. on a Thursday doesn't work for you, I'm more than happy to schedule a one-on-one demo where we can go through the process and vet out your individual requirements. Question about integrating Freestyle with SiteLink. In its current state, no, we are not looking to integrate Freestyle with SiteLink. In order to utilize Freestyle, as I mentioned, we have integrations with Magento, BigCommerce, Mozu, and then as far as your main e-commerce platforms. If you're using another e-commerce platform, we could look at utilizing the API that we have in place. I know there are some current SiteLink customers that are looking at switching over to a Magento platform. We do have a partner called Pixify who has a fairly inexpensive way to transition you over from any other shopping cart into a Magento platform, so it might be something you want to explore. Question as to whether Freestyle has anything to do with manufacturing. So I do need a little bit more explanation on that as to what specifically you're looking for. What I'm going to guess based on that question is, as far as producing your own products and stuff like that, right now, no. Freestyle is not a manufacturing software. It is an inventory and order management software for finished products, finished goods. If you have some sort of customization, sometimes, people have items that they sell on their website that have custom options. Maybe it's an engraving or something like that. We can bring that down with the order. But, as far as the actual production process, if you're thinking more in terms of ERP type from start to finish the production of the product, no, that is not where Freestyle comes into play. It's really inventory and order management for those who essentially sell online, and, it's a finished product. So I don't know if that fully explains what you're asking, but if it doesn't, we can definitely take that offline. Okay. So I do have a few other questions that are specific to Freestyle and your individual needs. I am more than happy to go through that with you. I'd prefer to do those on an individual basis, being that this is just a general overview of the barcode scanning. So at this point, unless there's any questions as they pertain to the barcode scanning functionality, I'm going to thank you all for joining me. Bear with me for just a second. I'm just going to throw my contact information up here on the screen for you. So on the screen now is my contact information. Again, my name is Megan Castillo. My email address is megan.c@freestylesolutions.com. I can be reached at 800-474-5760, extension 258. Feel free, if you have any additional questions that come up after today's presentation, to reach out to me directly. I will do my best to answer, and whatever I can, I will seek other resources to make sure we have a correct answer for you. One thing to note, those of you who are considering looking at an inventory and order management solution, we are running a 90-day promotion right now. Basically, with that 90-day promotion, you are getting the first 90 days of Freestyle free of use. So regardless of the number of users, your Freestyle instance is free for 90 days. So it's a great way to really get up and running on Freestyle and learn the ins and outs while you're still getting your feet wet. All right, I guess that wraps up for today. Thank you again, all of you, for joining me. As I mentioned, we have regular Thursday demos at 2 p.m. Feel free to check out our website. I will also be doing these product-specific as well as thought leadership-oriented webinars every Tuesday or every other Tuesday in the month. In addition to the product webinars, I'm also doing an inventory management best practices webinar later this month. And then in the first week of September, we're actually going to be doing a showcase with one of our partners, ShipStation. So we have a direct integration with ShipStation through Freestyle as well, and ShipStation is going to be presenting a webinar on how to really get the most and really come up with a good shipping strategy from an e-commerce standpoint. So they're going to look at the different types of e-commerce platform, the shipping providers, and really how to strategize from a shipping standpoint. So that would be nice and interesting, and that's actually September 1st. So all of these will be listed on our website, and I will be sending out an email shortly with regard to the ShipStation Blast in particular. So thank you again for joining me, and as I said, my contact information is there. Please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help in any way that I can. Thank you, everyone.